Namaste. I'm Akasha Indigo Ray, and thank you for stopping by my channel, Akashic Song. And I just wanted to say hello to you. Happy December. How's your December going? I did not make a video last week because I had a lot of shit going on. As we all tend to do when the holidays come up. But yeah, I'm just kind of haven't really done my winter solstice decorating yet, so I'm feeling a little bit unseasonal. It feels like December came really fast, which is I don't know, I guess the years just fly a little faster as you progress along your timeline, but it seems like December has come really fast this year. So I'm just kind of getting caught up and getting in the flow of wintertude. And I feel like wintertude is that thing that comes over me when I'm a little bit less active in terms of witchery. And I'm a little more internal. Like always after Samhain, I feel this energy kind of pull me back into more introspective work and shadow work and all of that darker, you know, it's a darker time of year. The sun sets a little earlier. We're in a time of the death of the earth, the dying phase of things. Winter starts creeping in and the ground starts looking a little crunchy and the leaves are crunchier and the trees are a little more barren. And so this is a time when I tend to be much more internally focused and less outputting, if that makes sense. And I think that seems to be true. Maybe I've noticed a lot more across the board with other witches, and some people have really started doing Vlogmas, where you make a vlog a day no matter what in order to kind of keep that momentum and that energy going. So I'm by no means getting ready to do Vlogmas, but yeah, so just a little quick update as to where I am. I'm gonna ring my little singing bowl because I'm feeling kind of I'm feeling a little ungrounded. I'm going to talk a little bit about the singing bowl in the second part of this video, but I love the singing bowl. So today I want to share with you my video for the ABCs of Witchcraft, and I'm going to do S and T right now for you. And that will be very timely, that bell. So S, surrender. In my practice, S has really come to be about surrender. And I have an extremely complicated relationship with the concept of surrender, which I guess if you are a woman-bodied person, you would get that. The whole time I was growing up, all the way up until I started going through my spiritual awakening, surrender had this very negative connotation. It was, I give up, I quit, I'm waving the white flag, you win the battle, I'm done fighting, you know, I surrender to this power that I cannot fight. If you've ever had any experience with a 12-step program, surrender is always this idea of giving power over, giving up control, surrendering control to a power greater than yourself for your healing, which I think is a great concept. But when all of these ideas around surrender came, I was going through a time in my life when I felt like I needed to feel more powerful, right? So witchcraft came in and gave me this sense of personal power, this sense that I didn't have to be on anybody else's, I didn't have to be at the mercy of anyone else's plan for me. Be that a god, be that my parents telling me what they thought that I had to do, be that a relationship where a romantic partner is trying to guide, where things are going to go. That the concept of surrender felt to me like the antithesis of my womanhood. It felt like the antithesis of me being a feminist. That I have to give up control in order to be in the flow of the universe and whatever that is going to show up as for me. But no one tells men to surrender, right? Unless it literally is that concept that you lose, you quit. And when I read Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now, my well-worn book, there are some concepts in here about surrender and how this trip of waking up to your higher self, of meeting the truth, of finding this way of waking up to who you really are requires total surrender. As soon as you give up trying to control and trying to have all of this power, you'll have more power than you ever dreamed. And that's also in the concept of, I've got all my little yogic books here, How to Know God, the yoga aphorisms of Patanjali. And Patanjali is the saint that is credited with, the Indian saint who is credited with introducing the philosophy of yoga, meaning yug, to join, to become one with God, introducing the philosophy of yoga, not the hatha practice, but the philosophy of yoga to the West. Or even in the East, he's credited with being the one that took that concept, received the divine message, and shared that. And all along in that book, he also talks about different aphorisms that are about giving up this way of trying to organize your world and coming into union. And when you're in union with God, what you're going to find is all of this power actually emerges from you. Siddhis, they call it. Yogic powers are called siddhis. 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 And siddhis are associated with the psychicism, right? So third eyesight, gnosis, clairaudience, all of those kinds of psychic abilities, even some far out saints that flew and levitated and do all kinds of things that you go, that doesn't happen. It did. But you have to surrender trying to control, trying to manifest, and that's the total opposite, right, that we learn about in the New Age, that you're supposed to be setting intentions and you're supposed to be really focusing your energy and thinking about only the thing that you want, and that's going to create it. But actually thinking about what you want all day is also affirming what you don't have. There's a beautiful balance in the law of attraction of realizing what it is that you want to attract into your life, and then also immediately letting go once you share that intention with the universe. So once you express that desire, letting it go, surrendering to the knowing that if it is meant for you, it is going to find you. But if you're attached to it, if you're focused on it, if you're in search of it, if you're spending all of your energy trying to manifest something, you are also telling the universe, I do not have this. So the beginning of my journey, this idea of surrender felt like quitting, giving up. It felt like the antithesis to being a self-actualized, sovereign woman, feminist, black woman. I have to be powerful. I have to go out and I have to create what I want. I have to make what I want. And I have to get it and move it and do it. And if there's something in my life that is not the way that I want it to be, then that is who I am as a witch. I get to order that. I get to shift that in a way that feels right for me. But the concepts of yoga philosophy actually taught me that it's more of a delicate lila rasa, a delicate divine dance of equanimity. The balance between surrender and actualization. Passivity, activity. The part of you that is receptive and in the flow, surrender, and the part of you that is active and actualized and creating. And you have to be in this delicate middle space, or I have found that I can reside in this delicate middle space, this middle path of getting up, setting an intention for my day, saying prayers, connecting with divinity, reading holy scriptures, and things that kind of put me on the vibration of giving myself to the universe, to God, to union, to love, to whatever, giving myself over to that surrender, but then also going into my day and being active in the way that I order my thoughts. So when those ideas start coming to me of like, so-and-so's trying to do this to me, or this is happening, or this, oh God, I have a meeting, this is gonna, whatever. As those thoughts come up that challenge that level of peace and passivity, that level of surrendering to what is, I get to be active and saying, I'm gonna come back to mantra, I'm gonna come back to stillness, I'm gonna come back to knowing that everything is happening for my highest good. And there's an ebb and flow to life, so there's always gonna be ups and downs, there's going to be letting go of one thing so that something else can arrive for you. But I found that the best place to be is in a state of surrender. And when I reach that moment where I know that I have to actively change something, I set the stage. That's what magick's for. I set the stage, I call in the support that I need, I set the powerful intention, I use the correspondences that I need to get into a place of personal power, to get into that mindset of, okay, I've been in surrender, and now is the moment where I have to choose activity, when I have to actually take all of that energy and move it in the direction of what I want to experience. And then again, I have to come back to the surrender, come back to the letting go. I'm not going to walk around all day thinking about what it is that I'm doing or what I'm trying to attract or what I don't have. Like, do it, let it go. Surrender to it's either going to be what's best for you and show up and manifest, or something better is going to show up and manifest. I am creating a more positive experience with the concept of surrender by making it an actual intention, by making it a focus of my practice to allow myself, to allow the universe. Yeah. Surrender. I know that was easy, but it's also really true. And it's a hard practice. And it's really going to take you into your shadow. It's really going to take you into the parts of yourself. If you choose to adopt a practice of surrender, like active surrender, it's going to take you into the parts of yourself. I'm a control freak, honey. It is going to take you into the parts of yourself that really does not feel okay with trusting what somebody else's plan is. And we as witches, right? We want to order our lives. We want to make it. We want to do it. We're gonna set the intentions. We're gonna light the incense. We're gonna do all the things. But at some point, you also have to trust that if you have guides that have your back, then you don't always have to be going against the grain. Sometimes you can just choose to be in the flow of what is. I'm having Pinot Noir because it's Sunday night. Happy Sunday. All right. T. Tools of the trade. this would be a good one because I don't often talk about the tools that I use in my practice. I've done videos where I showed myself dressing candles, or I've shown my altar at different points so you can kind of see the tools, but I haven't talked a whole lot about the tools that I have. Because my practice is, I am a witch, but my practice is grounded in the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. So a lot of my daily practice, as I've shared with you, Lakshmi, Puja, all of that kind of stuff, a lot of my practices are based in Hinduism and yoga, the philosophy of yoga. I'm specifically studying Kriya Yoga right now, which is the yoga as defined by Paramahansa Yogananda. And so it's a lot about breath work, sound work, meditation. It's very focused on meditation and getting to the essence of the self. And if you're interested or curious about that, I would check out the Self-Realization Fellowship, or you can also Google Yogananda, literally spelled like yoga and Nanda, Nanda, Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda. But so because my practice is at the foundation is yoga and Hinduism, the pantheon, I guess I would say. Right now I am exploring connecting with Lord Krishna, because I don't really have a divine masculine strong presence in my practice, and that's something that came up for me around shadow work, that I have really pushed away the divine masculine in such an intense way, as that they can only come in here and now, here and again, and then thank you, back to my goddess work. So I'm actively in surrender to the fact that Lord Krishna has come in and kind of sent me a little message that, you know, there's a way for you to be in harmony. So I'm working on that. But because that's a big part of my practice, my witchcraft tools have shifted a little, or they're not the same as they were before, right? So I haven't talked about this yet, and I'll probably have to do a longer video about this, but I have let go of Wicca. And it was a very, 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 very difficult decision for me, so I'm not going to go into it here because this video would be way too long. But I was starting to have this clash between Hinduism and Wicca. And more of my deep, abiding spiritual connections, the cosmology, the vibration, the way that I work, the fact that I am very devotion oriented. I was working so much harder to be Wiccan. And the moment it really dawned on me, like, I'm absolutely a Hindu witch trying really, really hard to be Wiccan, I, again, had to fall into the surrender of, this is a box that I have to allow myself to stop checking because it no longer fits me. 100% witch, but I no longer am grounding my practice with the concepts of Wicca. Now, that being said, a lot of Wicca actually encompasses ideas of the East, and specifically of India and yoga and Hinduism. And so some of those concepts kind of cross over. So what I have kept in my practice as my tools, since the overall structure of Wicca, which has a very extensive tool set, some things that I never felt drawn to, like having an athame. I kind of would ebb and flow with wands. I still want a wand, but my wand is gonna be a little different. It's gonna be more like a crystal wand, and I'm in search of exactly what I want, but more about doing crystal healing and crystal work than having a wooden wand for energy moving. So that is a tool that I'm choosing to bring in that currently is not in my practice. I had a wooden wand, but I've made an internal shift to let that go, so that I can attract a crystal wand. So I still use my besom. That's my girl. For removing negative energy, for sweeping energy out before I do any kind of crafting or work at my altar. And it also is really important because my husband and I jumped over that broom at our hand fasting. So the besom is always going to have a place in my practice because of what it represents for me, and I do still actively use it. I still have my handy dandy pentacle because pentacles don't actually belong to Wicca. They're a tool of witchcraft. The idea of charging things on the pentacle and using the pentacle as a place to like as a part of consecrating tools and stuff. I don't necessarily do that anymore, but I keep it here as a symbol of what I'm doing, and every now and again I will actively put it on the altar and do a crystal grid around it and use it to kind of do grounding work and things of that nature. So I still absolutely work with the pentacle. I still wear my pentacle as a symbol of my practice, as a symbol of being a witch. But I kind of pressed pause on cleansing and consecrating tools on this pentacle. So it hangs on the wall here above my altar. So my singing bowl. This is a big part of my practice, and it always has been. It just used to sit alongside an actual chime bell that you ring, or that generally Wiccans ring after you've done a spell. You ring the bell to kind of release the energy. Bells represent spirit, so I've always had a strong connection with bells, and I've had this singing bowl for a number of years. It's Tibetan. It's got a third eye design inside. And I ring this at the beginning of meditation every day, morning and night. And you saw it really did shift my energy when I started playing it. So it absolutely has a connection to the third eye, and it has a connection to the crown chakra. My well-used cauldron. Right now it's got some ash from burning incense, but I still absolutely use my cauldron. This probably will never leave my practice. I do burn charcoal briquettes with different herbs and stuff. I also use it to burn cone incense. If I'm doing any kind of intention setting where I write something on a piece of paper and I want to burn it, cauldron, she's here all day, every day. I still use my censer because it's very practical for putting out fires, but this is also a big a tool that's listed in the Wicca list of tools, but I do still use my censer. I love it. It's silver. I love it. Tarot, which doesn't belong to Wicca, but I still absolutely use tarot. Every day I draw a card. Today my card was Justice. Yeah, tarot. Different tools of divination I still use. I've got my crystal ball that's still in my practice. I love gazing into this ball. It's a very chill way to meditate as well, gazing into a crystal ball. It will calm you down, especially if you're not looking for anything in particular, but you're just looking into it. When I bought this originally, it was listed as smoky quartz, but the more I've worked with this crystal, I'm pretty sure it looks just like this geode, right? So I'm pretty sure this is amethyst, which is why I think it has a very psychoactive effect on my brain and kind of brings me into a state of more intuition. So, because that's what amethyst does. What else? Obviously candles. Candles are a huge part of pretty much any witchy practice. I dare you to go to any witch's house and not see a million different types of candles. Lady Oshun, so having different guides are a part of my practice, is still absolutely happening. Oshun is still my guide that reflects the divine feminine. And I have a picture of, I will try to not make you dizzy. I tend to do this, right? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not good at cutting and all that kind of stuff. So that is my picture of Yoga. Oh God, what am I doing? Okay, so that is my picture of Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda. I consider him to be my guru, I guess you would call him, my guru. So he sits over the altar. as an energetic support. Music is a giant tool. Now, yes, I was saying I don't deify him. Obviously, I'm working with Krishna in that form, but he is a part of my practice in terms of connecting with a guru and a guide to help me navigate Kriya Yoga, learning how to go deeper into deeper states of meditation and into samadhi, and just really reawakening that. I consider this to be a tool. Now, I want to be really careful in saying it is not appropriate for someone to wear a bindi, be that jewelry, be it any kind of colorful ash decorative dot situation, if you are not actively working with the concepts of any of the types of yoga or Hinduism as a philosophy, as a study. If you just think it's cool and you want to wear a bindi, I think that's kind of stretching cultural appropriation into a place of cultural appropriation. I really did a lot of soul searching before I allowed myself to start wearing a bindi on a daily basis, but I actually have, I think I can show it to you. This is Shingar Premium Kumkum. So when you get real kumkum, it's got turmeric and it's tingly. So when I first put it on, I feel this like this tingly sensation. And every now and again, like if I touch it, it kind of re-initiates. And you start to feel a little more sensation there. So the purpose of that, I absolutely view that as a tool in my practice. It's more of a yogic tool than, you know, a witchy tool, but it has a similar effect in bringing me into union with my third eye and opening my third eye and removing any calcification and energy blockage there so that my psychic centers are more open, my chakra is more open, my third eye chakra, the Ajna chakra, is more open, and I'm actively doing that work. I'm not wearing it as a cultural expression. I'm not an Indian person. I'm not married to an Indian person. I am literally doing it as a part of my yoga practice in connecting with divine mind through third eye and opening that energy center. And I absolutely walk my talk. I'm rereading the Bhagavad Gita. So just be careful with that when you are adapting tools of other religious practices and cultural practices into your work. So besides that, definitely I would say incense is a huge tool for me in bringing myself into like a place of contemplation and introspection. Herbs, flowers, and essence oils and things of that nature. And mostly if I'm cleansing and consecrating anything now, it's more about wafting sage over it to cleanse. And I also will use Palo Santo to bless the item, the tool, and my prayer beads. So my prayer beads, my mala string, this is lemon jade. I've shared that before. They are a big part of my practice as well. I absolutely consider them to be a tool. I go around each bead and I do mantras, and you can use different. I have used different mantras with the same beads because I do feel that the beads become invested with your energy, and so it's good to not keep changing beads. And so I do go around, and right now I'm working, as I said, I'm trying to embrace the divine masculine, so I am doing the Hare Krishna mantra. So I'll do one bead and I'll say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then I'll grab the next bead and I'll say Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And you can look up what that means if you're at all interested in working with Lord Krishna. But Krishna is also likened to Christ as an avatar of Vishnu, who is the Hindu god or the Hindu deity of preservation. So he keeps the world moving, keeps things in flow. There's birth, life, and death, right? As concepts, birth would be Brahma, Vishnu is life, and then Shiva would be death or the destroyer. So he's generally pictured playing a flute, and he's really associated with the idea of love as a divine expression of Vishnu, of the One, and how we can actually use love as a tool, as power, instead of something that weakens you or lessens you. And he's pictured a lot with these gopis. They call them milk gopis, but he has one beloved. So he manifests himself in different forms to inspire love in all of the gopis, but Radha is his divine beloved, who he is absolutely devoted to. So I am learning to deepen my concept of love and the expansion of love and how love can show up in our lives as divinely masculine also. Crystals are still a big part of my practice. I keep crystals on my altar and I use them throughout my day as a way to balance myself. I have a Shiva Lingam here and citrine for finances and stability. I have a clear quartz for also it works really well with the third eye and also the crown chakra. I would say amethyst is better for the third eye, but clear quartz has so many benefits. I love clear quartz. Selenite for calm and peace, and it's really good if you need help getting to sleep. This, and also amethyst. Yeah, so I have a ton of crystals. I still absolutely use crystals in my practice, and I am connecting with the elements in a different way now that I've kind of returned back to the heart of my original awakening practice, which was yoga and the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and blending that with witchcraft. So I would say the tools that I have let go of were tools that were distinctly Wiccan, such as having a wooden wand, having the chime bell. I don't keep a chalice on my altar anymore. I will bring a chalice to my altar if I'm specifically doing an offering to Oshun, or if I am doing any kind of work that I want to pour out some kind of libation for. So that is still a part of my ancestral practice. Yeah, what else have I removed from my practice? I never had an athame. I thought about it a lot, but it just never felt quite right. Yeah, so that's it. So thank you for sticking with me for 33 minutes if you're still here. Bless your heart. I love you very much, and I'm so grateful to get to share the tools of my practice with you all. And I hopefully will be right back to film my U and V video. We're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna make it to the end, and then I have some ideas for how I want to move this channel along in 2019. So namaste, have a beautiful evening, and may you be happy and peaceful. May you be free from sorrow. May you have shelter and security. May you be unconditionally loved and supported by someone you hold dear for you. Namaste.